Hi everyone, Mallory here to walk you through how to create your own Reading Dragon cards using Procreate. I will walk you through downloading from the Google Drive, importing to Procreate, using the tools in Procreate to create your dragon, and how to save your image as a PNG file with a transparent background. So the first thing you're going to do is go to your email that has the link to the Reading Dragons Google Drive and click on that link. Alright, so this is the landing page for the Reading Dragons Google Drive. Where you're going to go to get your editable file is number 3, Color Me Templates. It's the yellow file folder, and click on that. The next thing you're going to do is go to Simplified PSDs. There are other options for editable files, but I prefer to use the Simplified PSDs. Then choose the creature of your choice. All 4 age stages are inside that file, even though it's only showing the adult version. Today, let's look at the Sphinx. So you tap on that to open it, and then at the top right corner there are 3 dots that you will tap, and you're going to hit download. Next you're going to put save to files, and it should say on my iPad. If not, select that option and press save. Alright, so we can leave our Google Drive. Now go to Procreate. This is an app specifically made for iPad. It's a great program. Definitely recommend it. So right here is the landing page for Procreate. It will show all of the files you've been working on. I already have a bunch of the Reading Dragons files here, but I'm going to show you how to import the file because you'll be starting from scratch. So on the landing page at the top right, it says select, import, and photo, and a plus. You're going to select the import option. So press import. It's going to pop up with your files. You can click on my iPad and then find the file that you downloaded. So I'm going to touch the Sphinx template and it will import it into Procreate. Alright, and it automatically opened our new file. So there are a lot of great tools in Procreate that you should explore at your leisure. I am only going to talk about the specific tools we will be using today in order to keep this tutorial short and to the point. So let's start with layers and what layers are. Okay, in the top right section you'll see a bunch of icons. Right now there's a little blue paintbrush. We're not going to talk about that first. If you skip down to what looks like 2 squares layered on top of each other, I'm going to click that. This is the layers menu. Now you can see that it's highlighted in blue. So in the file, you will see that each age is grouped separately, and it has 3 different layers: a line art layer, a color layer, and a white outline layer. Right now you can't see the white outline layer because at the very bottom we have a background color selected. The little check mark at the right side of the layers shows you what is visible or invisible. So I'm going to turn off the visibility of the background color. Alright, now you can see that there is a white outline around the Sphinx. It's very important that you turn off that background color because when you save it as a transparent PNG, you don't want to have a white square around your creature. You want that to be gone. So once you download it, go ahead and do that first thing, turn off the background color. Alright, so at the top, let's talk about nesting layers. So what I have selected right now, it looks like a little line, and it says Adult Sphinx, and it has a little down arrow and a check mark. If you feel like this is a little overwhelming seeing all the layers at once, you can click on that little arrow and it will nest the layers inside of it like a little folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click that arrow for each of the folders for each age stage. That way we can see they're all nested together. It's a little less overwhelming. All right, so if you click the check mark beside the whole folder, it will make it visible or invisible. So I can do that with each stage so you can see what you have to work with. All right, going back to the Adult Sphinx. In order to work on a layer, let me unnest these by pushing that arrow down. You're going to select the layer you want to color on. The line art layer right now is the lines that create the art. You probably won't be coloring this unless you want to color it a unique color. That's fine, but it's not necessary. You can leave it black. The color layer is the layer you're going to be working on. Okay, so that's that light blue right now, but you're going to change it to whatever color you want. You're going to color designs on it. It will look great. And then the outline layer is just that white outline that helps it pop from the card background. You won't need to touch that. Unless you add extra layers with your own special art, then you might want to add extra outlines around that. So I'm going to select the color layer because that's the layer I want to work on. Make sure you have that layer selected or it won't let you draw on it. All right, I'm going to tap off of, oh, there was one more thing I wanted to tell you. So these automatically have alpha lock turned on. Alpha lock prevents you from coloring outside of what's already colored in. So like you can't color outside the lines. If you tap on the layer, a little menu pops up and you can see down in the middle there's a little check mark by alpha lock. If you click it, you can see in the preview layer that little grid of squares goes away, showing you that it is no longer locked. Now I could color outside of the lines. So if you ever find that, oh no, I'm coloring out the side of the lines and I don't know why, just tap on the layer and push alpha lock, and that will prevent you from coloring outside of the lines. All right, next. So I'm going to tap off that. Next, I want to talk about colors. On the far right side in the corner, there's a circle. Right now it is black. If you tap on that, it'll show your color wheel. So you can select whatever color you would like by moving it around on the screen. So if you're going towards the bottom, of course, it's going to be darker, lighter, and more vibrant, depending on where you are in the square. To get a different hue, you're going to move this circle around the outer ring and then just drop it wherever you want. Or you can just tap it and it will go wherever you touched. There are other versions of the color selector that you can use, but I do like how this one works. All right, so I'm just going to choose a color. I'm going to go with, let's choose a blue. And this will be our base color. I'm going to drag and drop that color to completely fill the layer before I start working. That'll make it a little less work in the long run. So I'm going to tap off that so that preview goes away. Then I'm going to long press on the colored dot and drag. Oh no, changed my color. Sorry, I'm going to drag the color onto the Sphinx and just let it fill it in. So that's the color drop tool. All right, you can see that there are some little spots that didn't completely fill in. So you can color over those to make them go away and completely fill it the right color. All right. So now I need to select a different color to color on top of that. I'm going to go with a darker blue, just for the purposes of showing you how to do some other things. The next thing you're going to want to do is select the brush you want to use. Right now I have it on Airbrush Soft Brush. I like to use Airbrush if I am trying to fill in a large area at one time, because it is a much larger brush. I also like to use it if I want to color in like a gradient or a fade of soft colors. It's very nice for that. The other brush I like to use is under the inking option, the technical pen. It is a very fine point brush, and it's great for detail work. It's also solid, so you won't get that gradient feel with it. So those are the two brushes I like to use. They are basic brushes to Procreate. When you download Procreate, you should be able to find them just fine. So in the inking option, you want technical pen. In the airbrush option, soft brush. But again, there are tons of brushes to explore. You should see what feels comfortable to you and what style you like to color in, because there are so many options. All right, so I'm going to change this to the inking technical pen, and then I'm going to explain some stuff about adjusting your brushes. All right, so on the left-hand side, you can see that there are these sliders. The slider at the top changes the size of your brush. You can see the little preview, the little white dot getting bigger or smaller. You can see that the technical pen doesn't get very big. It is very much for details. On the bottom, this changes the opacity. So if you want it more transparent or see-through, or if you want it opaque and not see-through, usually you'll keep it at 100%. But again, you can experiment with that. All right. So if you're using an Apple Pen, it is pressure sensitive. That means that with the technical pen, it's going to be very narrow when you're using a light pressure, and as you increase the pressure, it's going to get thicker. So you can adjust how thick it is by how hard you press on your screen. To undo a line that you've drawn, you're going to tap with 2 fingers. To redo lines that you've drawn, you can tap with 3 fingers. So I'm going to undo those. I'm going to show you what airbrushing looks like using the pressure sensitivity. So you can see in the size here, airbrush gets really big. So I'm going to make this a medium size. And again, you can change the opacity with that. So instead of tapering or getting smaller when you use less pressure, the airbrush tool is going to be fainter or more transparent with less pressure, and the harder you press, the more opaque it's going to be. So let me show you what that looks like. So on the pause, if I just gently brush in, you can see it's just barely getting darker. However, if I just press really hard right away, it gets very dark. So you can kind of control how you're coloring using how hard you're pressing on the screen. So that's a nice bit of control for you. As you noticed, I've been zooming in, moving my screen around. You do all of that using 2 fingers. It's definitely one of those pinch to zoom type things. And if you put two fingers and just move them together, you can slide your picture wherever you want. You can also rotate your picture. This is not going to, when you save it, it's not going to be upside down. That's just something for you depending on how you work and how you want to view things. So it's nice if you want to get in close, say you're using the technical pen and you just want to see details. Okay, another thing that's really cool about this tool, so say you're drawing a line and you have a shaky hand. It's not very straight or curved or smooth. So if you make your shaky line and then you hold it, it's going to smooth it out for you. So say you're trying to make a straight line. You hold and it will straighten it out. It will keep the pressure, so you can see how it tapers at the beginning because I used less pressure, and it got a little thicker at the end because of more pressure. It will not do complex curves like an S-curve. It can't do that. Same with this. It's just, it will do its best. So if you're trying to do a curve, you can only do one curve at a time. Anyway, so say you've been coloring your design. Oops. It went to eraser. The eraser is this tool. You won't want to use that because it will actually erase the color layer, and then because you have it alpha locked, you won't be able to color over the part that you have erased. So I recommend just coloring over your mistakes or undoing your mistakes with the 2-finger tap and not using the eraser tool. But if you do use the eraser tool on accident, see, you can see the background through that. You can go to your layer, tap on the layer, turn off alpha lock, go back in, and color over it. When the alpha lock is off, that means you can color outside of the lines. So anyway, color in the part that you messed up, or use double tap if you do it soon enough to get rid of that. And then when you're done filling it all in, you're going to go back to your layer and turn the alpha lock back on so you don't have to worry about coloring outside of the lines. So tap the layer, turn on alpha lock. Anyway, that's the easy fix if that happens. Let's see, what else do you need to know? Oh, color dropper, which I just used. Okay, so you can select a color you've already used on your character by pressing and holding with your finger and then moving over different colors. You can see the color you currently have is on the bottom. The color you are hovering over is showing on the top. So when you get to a color that you want, you can let go and it will change to that color. All right, so say you're done with your first creature and you need to move on to do the next one. It helps that they're on the same layer because, or the same file, because then you can select colors from your other thing and put it on your next stage of growth. So make sure you select the color that you want to work on. And then again, like we did before, I'm going to drag the color from the top, drop it into the Sphinx. You can see that there are some pixels here that did not get filled in. So I'm just going to grab the airbrush tool and go over those real quick, just to clean it up. Anyway, so then you'll want to go step by step, looking at, okay, I put a curly Q up by the eye, or I made the paws like a darker shadow, and you're going to want to color it in to match. what you did before. And you'll do that with each stage. Okay, say you've completed everything and you are ready to save because you are ready to make your cards. All right, so once again, you're going to want to make sure that you have a transparent background. That means that you can see that grid behind it. So you don't want the background color on. You want to make sure that's turned off. Then you're going to want to make sure that only the stage that you want to save is visible. Like you don't want all of these overlapping each other because they'll all show up. So make sure only one stage at a time is checkmarked visible. All right, to save the file, up in the right top corner, there is a little wrench. You're going to tap that wrench. It says Actions. Then at the top bar, it says Add Canvas Share Video Prefs Help. You're going to make sure you are on the Share option. So click Share, and then you're going to tell it what file type you want to share your image as. We want a PNG, so tap the PNG option. It's going to ask you where you want to export your image, and you're going to push Save Image. It's just going to save it to your photos. All right, and then you'll want to go through and do that for each of your other stages. And they will be in your photos, and you will be done. Anyway, so that's how you use Procreate to create your character. I hope this was a good introduction for you. If you have questions, maybe go to the Facebook group and ask your questions there. And if we need to make more tutorials, we will. Well, thank you for watching.